All right, thank you for staying with us. Corporate governance is a system that outlines how executives manage corporations, particularly concerning their financial and business operations. It provides a framework for addressing critical questions about company operations and their ability to safeguard against various risks. Corporate governance significantly impacts accounting practices by improving the quality of financial information, reducing instances of creative accounting, and strengthening the role of audits. Moreover, it is set to enhance the quality of accounting information by aligning the interests of executives and shareholders. Joining us in the studio is Public Affairs Analyst and Chartered Accountant Olusegun Okwade. Good morning.
Good morning, Vera.
Join us.
Thank you.
And we're also joined by Abioye Balogun, who is the 37th chairman of ICANN Ikeja District.
Good morning, madam.
It's good to have you join us. Now, Accounting Day, International Accounting Day was yesterday. Congratulations, if I may begin on that note.
Thank you.
Perhaps the day is celebrated to show that how important accounting is to corporate governance, the other way, vice versa, whichever way we look at it. But from your perspective, some persons might wonder, what is it about accounting that we are celebrating? What is the noise, Seth? So please, let me begin with you. They say ladies first. Seth.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Thank you,
Talk to us.
Yes.
What, from your perspective, how important accounting is when we're talking about corporate governance?
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, as we all know, International Accounting Day celebration, which is on 10th of November every year. Accountants, that's the day set aside to celebrate accountants all over the world.
Right.
Accountants play a major role in businesses everywhere because corporate governance is very key. Simply put, corporate governance refers to the systems, the principles, and the processes to ensure that companies, businesses are managed in a way that is transparent and accountable to stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? We talk about the shareholders, the investors, the regulators, employees, customers, to ensure that the businesses are run in a transparent manner.
Absolutely, transparency.
Yes.
Transparency is key in matters of corporate governance, like she has rightly pointed. But I needed to perhaps expatiate more how crucial the matter of transparency is, because I know for someone like you, every kobo matters.
Thank you very much, Vera. Let me first start by congratulating all accountants all over the world for celebrating that day yesterday. And maybe on a lighter move, I think there is a special concentration on accountants because I read in the books that we all know religiously, I think in Revelation, he said a book shall be opened on the last day. And the only people that keeps the books are actually accountants because they understand the debit and the credit. And I think right from the creation of the earth, God understand that and he said on the last day, they will be the only one that will actually monitor the books of the accounts that have actually been kept. And that speaks to the question that you just asked when it comes to transparency. You see, in the country, we have two major institutes that plays major role in accounting profession, ICANN and ANAN. And if you look, the watchword is accountability and accuracy. You talked about integrity. And these are the rudiment of transparency that enhance corporate governance each time you want to talk about it. You see, the role of an accountant in every organization is very key. I'm very sure that the training an accountant has is encompassing. Is the man that speaks to the audits because an arm of accounting speaks to internal control. And if you don't have internal control in an organization, how transparent can that be? Because everybody goes their route to just do whatever they like. When you talked about risk management in terms of corporate governance, it is still an accountant that speaks volume to that particular thing because they are trained in line to mitigate risk in whichever way you want to talk about that. When you talked about customer relation is part of what they have actually been trained to enhance into some of these things. And there is an enroll into some of the recent thing we are having, and that speaks to sustainability reporting. For an organization to enjoy that sustainability, you need an accountant. And I always tell everyone that cares to know, it seems there are these toggle of what to say, no, accountant can be. Can you have a management meeting and your CFO is not there and you want to control the meeting? Definitely every of your discussion will not be whatever strategy you have put in place. In fact, when the marketing arm looks at the management board and the CFO is not there, they have to whisper to the MD, sir, this meeting cannot start because the man relies so much on the accountant, who is the CFO. Yeah. The man in quality assurance relies on the CFO, who actually. So the role of accountant in corporate governance is very key. And that's why we keep telling everyone that cares to know that the profession that we enjoy the younger generation to plug into as we speak, if we must correct some of the anomalies that we've had, is to just come into accounting profession and you have the best of it.
I like the fact that you pointed out something that I was going to mention later on, talking about younger generation plugging into the system. There are those who feel that the younger generation are not enthusiastic of this accounting or being accountants as it used to be in previous times, and so that perhaps in the coming years, the matters of the role of accountants might just be overtaken by new tools and all of it, and that there might not be accountants as such like you. So what do you say, the future of accounting? Really?
Yeah, well, the future is very bright. I keep saying it each time. We have a program that we always put together in the institute I belong to, which is Catch Them Young. And part of the things we preach to them is that AI has come, blockchain has come, everything seems to be there. But somebody needs to give interpretation in an advisory manner who understand those mechanisms and be able to advise the management accordingly. So, irrespective of everything you actually carried out, the accounting background is very fundamental. If you don't have it, then definitely if the system you claim to have decided to credit what is to be debited, definitely it will impact on the bottom line. Because what that is saying is that what you should have tracked as an income is actually being taken as liability. And the bottom line which speaks to that, you're actually running at a loss. And that's why majority of the people who see themselves in the space of finance without having the rudiment of accounting collapse most organizations, because there are basic things that is expected of you. So for the younger generation who thinks that the accounting is no longer the traditional way that we used to have it. Okay. A lot of technology has been infused into it, and it is only those who understand the fundamentals that can plug into it. So it's not about you coming in and said, no, it's about reading all these IT and the likes. You must understand what are actually those items that needs to go to the debit side. What are the items that need to go to the credit side? When the system is actually being configured, you see, for every of those AI stuff that you see out there, there is someone interpreting it behind the scene to say, this is where this will go, this is where this will go. And that is where the accountant plays a key role. I've seen instances where every of these IT guys will tell you that I need to enroll for accounting technician scheme or become a chartered accountant. Because without you having a background of some of those things, you might be misleading a lot of people with some of the packages that you actually be introducing to the people, even the one that you even give to government. So imagine somebody who does not have background of accounting going to set up a platform at which we need to write on, and he's giving you a wrong information of where to credit and where to debit. At the end of the year, you discover that we've done fantastically well, but we are unable to have profit that is expected to it.
And the books won't be transparent.
Of course. So that is why it is very much fundamental to have the background that is entrenched in it. I always tell everyone that we are naturally created to be an accountant, but you need an extra skill. And like I always say, somebody can be vocal. But does that make him to be a good presenter like you, Vero? No. You must have the understanding of some of the ethics.
The basics.
The basics, you must have it. And that's why we encourage everyone that accounting plays a major role. And don't forget, it's a profession that is to eternity. It's a profession that cannot just go stall as we speak. Because if we have the right set of people who actually gives the right information in terms of transparency and accountability, I can tell you that the current situation we are faced with will not actually be there.
Interesting. Let me come to you now. You mentioned technology, how technology is changing the face of accounting from what we used to know to what is becoming now. So perhaps you can shed more light on that, how technology is revolutionizing accounting as we speak.
Yes, thank you. As Sheson earlier said, as technology is taking really what we use as accountants use now mostly. A lot of new technologies are out, and like artificial intelligence.
Right. Yeah.
Artificial intelligence is what is in vogue now. A lot of audit firms use it. It helps in financial preparation to solve a lot of companies' problems. And as accountants, you have to be versatile.
Absolutely.
You have to embrace technology. You have to develop yourself through training. The Institute has mandatory continuing professional development for members, and also at the district levels. We organize trainings whereby we bring in speakers, seasoned speakers, to train our members so that they will become relevant in technology. And technology will not take away their position as people thought.
Interesting. It's good to, emphasize that because we often have this feeling that now that there is technology,
Yes.
it's taking away jobs. But from what you have said, it can only enhance individuals to be better and relevant, importantly. Now, let's talk about perhaps gender diversity in accounting. Especially at the leadership level, if this is still a challenge due to cultural norms and stereotypes. Yes, we know that you're the 37th chairman of ICANN Ikeja district, means that something is shifting. That matter of cultural norms and all of that is shifting. It's no longer what it used to be.
Yes, because women now, there is no gender discrimination, because females are really embracing, accounting. Females are everywhere, leadership level. The Society of Women Accountants is for female accountants. And, we have a major leadership role we play in organizations. So I want to encourage my female professional colleagues. There's nothing like what a man can do. No, we women should embrace our roles, take our work. We shouldn't let family issues, we shouldn't limit ourselves.
Right. Or culture.
We shouldn't see it as gone are the days when we feel females are meant to be taking care of the homes. No. In accounting, you can reach not only accountants, you can reach any level you desire to reach. That means females should be encouraged to develop themselves, see themselves at the top level, and nothing will hinder them from achieving that once they have that determination and they develop themselves regularly.
Right. Let's talk about the female touch to this profession, Sheson. What did the women bring to the table? I don't want to ask, I want the men to say it. I know because we understand that. They understand the touch women bring to the table. So speak to us.
Vero, you are almost boxing me to the corner.
No, you're not in the corner. You're actually seated.
I think, after the Beijing conference, it became very obvious that women are no longer at the back end.
Yeah.
And with the institute I belong to, not only my institute, I think generally now, a lot of women are actually given that relevance that is expected of them. If you look at the legislative arm, you have very few women. Don't let me say few. At least we gave like 20-something%, and we have them contributing their quota. Look at the last appointment made by Mr. President when he tried to change ministers. We have females that are out there.
Just two of them.
Well, 2 out of 6. I'm sure when you put the number...
And they can be 4.
Well, we cannot make it equality yet, but we give you that preference to say at least lend your voice in those things that you say. And when you go to so many organizations now in the financial sector, in the manufacturing sector, in telecoms, we've seen women having their, space to actually contribute there. You see, you can't underestimate, and I'll continue to say it, and that's part of the things we practice in our profession. I can say in ICANN, we've had close to, we currently have the 60th president, and I know we've had close to like 10 women being part of the presidency, at the echelon. The current nomenclature of our presidency as a woman who gives that touch, the feminine touch. You see, everything you try to put together, and the female is not there, you are not actually moving anywhere. Because for men, pardon me, we move in a very straightforward manner. But a woman will come and give you the other perspective of
the
it.
Pros and the cons.
And you'll be able to have a buy-in. And that's why I will tell you, I've happened to be a chairman in this district. And in our district, we don't underestimate the power of a woman in all that we do. I happen to be, my predecessor was a woman. The one before her was a woman. I think in my district, if she's the 37th, we should be made proud to say we've had even close to 10 too, who are female chartered chairman in that perspective. So the place of woman is very key, and I think men are giving room for that particular thing. I think what is fundamental is the mindset.
Right.
Every woman must come out of that shell, not to see themselves as second fiddle, as people who act them or thought they are. What we need to do is develop yourself. I have a very a lady currently who is actually doing great in AI, blockchain, data analytics, that men cannot match. And I say, see, when a woman is determined to do something, give it to her. She's all out to give her best. I'm not underestimating women, but you know what might take you few steps. A guy can calculatively, strategically, put those things in there. But I can tell you that we are not underestimating the power of women. And you can see that in every sphere that you're actually speaking to in the country, both at the executive level, at the legislative level, at the judiciary level. Don't forget that the current Chief Justice of Nigeria is a woman. So what other thing do we feel that we need to do? Every area you go to, you always see the hand of a woman. They say very soon, I don't wish in the next 10 years we will still be relevant as man, but the beauty of it is that when you go and come back, it is still demand that you give account.
I knew you would have that. I shall knew you would have that. Anyway, still talking about this. From what you have seen about accountants, accounting in the country, there might still be areas that need improvement. What are those areas from your perspective now?
Yeah, from my perspective, areas that need improvement. There should be, like I said earlier, corporate governance. Fine, corporate governance is very key. It plays a major role. As long as a company has a good structure, everything will go on well. Right. But as we see, there are still some gaps.
Right.
So that's why you can see some companies having maybe window dressing, because there are some gaps which needs to be breached. I think the regulators should continue reviewing, they come up with good intention, coming up with good policies, which some companies do not embrace very well. So there should be consistent reviewing and training also in order to ensure that we are there, we get there. A lot of companies are doing well because when they have good structure in place, you can rely on the financial reports, right, and it's going to make investors and other users of the financials to rely on the information because there's transparency.
Yes.
So I think the area of review, constant reviewing and developing training to ensure that we get there so that there can be more reliance on the financial reports prepared.
Right. Shasa, from your perspective, what are the gaps? Like she mentioned, there are still gaps that need to be bridged.
Vero, I'm sure you know constantly I say this. I think the major problem we have as a nation is system. We don't have a system. And people keep saying that, Shasa, what is it all about? Maybe because I'm an accountant and I play in that sector. It's good you have a structure. When you have those structure, I'm sure you are aware that a lot of lawyers come here and they say we don't have problem with our laws.
Yes.
The problem we have is enforcement and implementation of those things. It's applicable to system. I think we have system. The Constitution guides us on so many things that we need to do. A lot of people do not follow this system. And do we have consequential management to speak to some of these things? We've seen instances where funds are, diverted, mismanaged. What is actually the punishment to serve as deterrent to others? Because that is the way to go. Absolutely. You have a system and somebody is actually deviating for it, there should be punishment. What that implies is that if you are to be engaged as the next person to fill that particular vehicle, what you'll be thinking is that there is going to be punishment for me if I don't do it right. I will keep making, reference to a lot of countries where individual personality might want to laud themselves of their ideas. And you discover that the system checkmates some of the things we do. So I feel the area where we are missing it as we speak, and it cut across every arm of the government, both at the executive arm, at the legislative arm, at the judiciary arm, is following strictly some of the structures that we have put in place and be able to actually put those punishments that are attributable to it. How can we speak to the anti-graft agency, for years, following through on certain corruption charges without coming with a conclusion? And most of the time, a lot that we've seen is that you give a lot of sensitization or about a report, and the end thereof, those that are actually accused will even sue the government for wrong information. Is to say that something is fundamentally wrong with the system. Because before you even raise the allegation against one, you must have your substantial proof against such person. And that's where I feel that we need to make things to work. System is actually there. How much of it do we follow? True. And when we see wrongdoing, how much of it do we punish? I always make reference to the current minister that was suspended. Up till now, nobody is hearing anything about it. That's the Minister of Humanitarian. But there was an allegation against them and so many other people. And these are areas that we need to address. And we've always been speaking. Quite interesting that Mr. President is one of our senior colleagues as an accountant. And we keep saying we expect much more from him in area of consequential, management to make sure that when there are wrongdoings, people are punished for it.
Held accountable.
When they are held accountable and they are punished for it, it will serve as deterrent to others. And with that, Vero, you know that my message is always that this country is blessed. And we have every resources, whether material, money, human capital, intellectual. The only thing we lack is the leadership role to put everybody, because if there are no measures in this organization or rules governing you, or you understand that there are punishments, why is it that most of the time when we come on air and people are actually using some languages as presenters, you caution them? Because you understand that NBC as your regulator monitor things and there are consequences for some of those things you're doing. Same should be applicable in the system, in the legislative arm, in the executive arm, in the judiciary arm. When you see things go wrong, punish those that are actually done it. And don't wait forever. I keep telling people that we keep trying corruption cases for 5 years, 10 years. As an accountant, as a finance person, I keep saying that every of those delays that we have, interest should be charged. That makes it more interesting because the value of money 5 years ago is not the same.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
If at the end of 5 years you are able to achieve and get to know that This is what is actually, then we charge you interest on it. That will make everyone, it is even you that will be saying, George, please speed up this act.
I like this
because I don't have any interest to pay on the fee if it's actually agreed that
I
I'm actually
like this your perspective.
I think it's the best way to go. So it will assist the judiciary aspect to speed up every process in terms of mismanagement of funds.
Interesting perspective. Interesting. So how do we commemorate Accounting Day, International Accounting Day? What did your district do?
Oh, thank you.
Right.
It was yesterday,
yes,
which was on a Sunday. Though we did not allow church activities, religious activities to affect it. So we gathered at our district. We gathered there to create awareness. In the area we had the district office, let people know today is International Accounting Day. And our members, we tried to re-emphasize our roles, our responsibility. Then try to let our members know that to continue being relevant in the accounting profession and where we work, we should embrace technology, we should collaborate, we should develop ourselves,
right,
and we should ensure we let the company where we work get values from us, because we need to let them see the importance of an accountant in the organization.
Absolutely. And that's a fine place to leave the conversation. We must thank you, Abioye Balogun, the 37th chairman of ICANN Ikeja District. Thank you so much for gracing our studio, as well as public affairs analyst and chartered accountant Olusegun Okunade for your time. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to start the week.
Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you.
Now, moving on, the collapses of the national grid